Okay, so I'm gonna have to take a serious tone for today's video because we're here to discuss government overreach.
Very good, Terence!
Now, hopefully from the thumbnail and my highly descriptive video title, you've got an idea of what I'm going to be talking to you about today. But go on then, I'll tell you anyway. It's about Russell Brand and this woman, Caroline Dinenage. Caroline Buttigieg, I believe is how it's pronounced. This woman, whatever her name is, has been working her little socks off. For those of you who don't know who she is a member of Parliament in the UK, member of the Conservative Party, the ruling party in the UK. She's a member of government and a Conservative peer. That means, you know, like a high-ranking party member. She's got a peerage, so she's peering out on all of her minions. That's what that is, for those of you who don't know. She's been copying and pasting all morning, firing out pretty harsh-worded letters to the executives of Rumble and TikTok and Facebook. Heck, she's probably even sent one to MySpace or Bebo. Sending these little copy and paste letters out to all of these executives of these companies, trying to end Russell Brand, trying to memory hole him. Now, you're going to notice that I'm going to be using a lot of Orwellian references in today's video about government overreach, and specifically references to George Orwell's novel 1984. And the reason for that is I want to capture the edgy young men demographic. They seem quite lucrative to me. The red pills. Did I say that right? Any young men watching me now, any young men who the only book you've read is 1984 by George Orwell. You're 27 years old and you think you know a thing or two. I've read Orwell. I know my Orwell pretty well. Orwell. All you need to know about me is that I'm as based as they come. They call me the roast chicken because I'm basting in my own juices. And because I roast famous people. Now, these are the letters that Miss Dinerdog has sent out to all of the executives of all these social media companies. Facebook, TikTok, Rumble. All copy and paste letters encouraging the executives of these companies to demonetize Russell Brand's content and boot him off the platform. So effectively vaporize him, am I right, young disaffected men? The really weird thing about it is it doesn't seem as though the rest of her party are on board with this. It doesn't seem like she got any clearance. She isn't a minister of any particular department or anything. I don't know on what authority she thinks she can write these letters to these executives. She has worked in several ministries. Between May 2015 and September 2021, she worked in 6 different government departments, so she was obviously a big hit in all of them. 6 departments in 6 years. She was the Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State at the Government Equalities Office. Ugh, not based, am I right, disaffected young men? Ministry of Justice, yeah, more like the Ministry of Love, am I right, yeah? Department of Education, more like re-education, duh. And the Department of Work and Pensions, the Ministry of Plenty. Also worked in the Ministry of Health and Social Care. And most recently, she was involved with the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sport. Propaganda. Now she wants to lock Russell Brand in Room 101. I don't mean the TV show presented by Paul Merton. Though it is questionable what is worse, being locked in a cage with a rat that's trying to eat your face, or watching an episode of Room 101 with Paul Merton. Anyway, so she's been sending out these letters to all of the social media executives. Dear Mr. Facebook, you know, like a total boomer. And the executive of Rumble actually got back to her with this letter, essentially telling Miss Dinerdog to, to go fish, to go rumble fish. Okay, so this is the letter from Caroline Dinenage to the executive of Rumble, where you can clearly see she is asking him to demonetize Russell Brand and kick him off the platform. And what really bothered me about this letter isn't necessarily the sentiment, though I don't agree with the sentiment or the motives behind her writing this letter. It's the tone. The tone as though it's been written by a head of year 8 to an unruly boy's parents. Dear Chris, I'm writing concerning the serious allegations regarding Russell Brand in the context of his being a content provider on Rumble with more than 1.4 million followers. The Culture, Media and Sport Committee is raising questions with the broadcasters and production companies who previously employed Mr. Brand to examine both the culture of the industry in the past and whether that culture still prevails today. Ooh, I hope it doesn't prevail anymore, Caroline. Caroline Zinadzorg. I hate it when it prevails. However, we are also looking at his use of social media. Yeah, that's you. We're looking at his use of social media, including on Rumble, where he issued his preemptive response to the accusations made against him by the Sunday Times and Channel 4's dispatches. While we recognise that Rumble is not the creator of the content published by Mr. Brand, we are concerned. Oh, don't be concerned, Caroline. I hope you're not concerned. I hope you're not losing any sleep, Caroline. We are concerned that he may be able to profit from his content on the platform. You mean the aforementioned platform? That's right, we're talking about you. Rumble, we've got our eyes on you. We would be grateful. Oof, very patronising, very passive-aggressive. Caroline! We would be grateful if you could confirm whether Mr. Brand is able to monetize his content, including his videos relating to the serious accusations made against him. If so, we would like to know whether Rumble intends to join YouTube in suspending Mr. Brand's ability to earn money on the platform. Well, slap me and call me a bitch. Do you intend to join YouTube in the taking away of his ability to earn money for himself and his family? We certainly hope so. How can you just so casually write these things, whether Russell Brand is guilty or not? This is a disgusting, narcissistic, nasty thing to do. And anyone who doesn't see it, I insist, I don't know whether Russell Brand is guilty or not, but this is going to send all the people that think lizards control the world, it's going to send them into overdrive. Of course they're going to think it's a coordinated attack now, because you've got idiots like this who make it look like one. We would also like to know what Rumble is doing to ensure that creators are not able to use the platform to undermine the welfare of victims of inappropriate and potentially illegal behaviour. Because you care so much about the victims, don't you, sweet Caroline? Caroline Zinadzorg. Yours sincerely, Caroline. Caroline. That's her official name. Dame Caroline Dinningidding, DBEMP Chair Culture. Ooh, that sounds important. Caroline Zinadzorg. That's what you're going to be known as from now on, Carol. Anyway, Rumble have put out a statement responding to Carol's letter, so let's take a look at that. Today we received an extremely disturbing letter from a committee chair in the UK Parliament. Yeah. Committee chair is right. Chairman Mao. While Rumble obviously deplores sexual assault, rape and all serious crimes, I'm not laughing at those crimes. It just reminds me of the Stuart Lee bit about the values of the car phone warehouse. Flies in the face of the values of the car phone warehouse. While Rumble obviously deplores sexual assault, rape and all serious crimes, we're no fan of those things over at Rumble, and believes that both alleged victims and the accused are entitled to a full and serious investigation. It is vital to note that recent allegations against Russell Brand have nothing to do with his content on Rumble's platform. Just yesterday, YouTube announced that based solely on the media accusations, it was barring Mr. Brand from monetizing his video content. Rumble stands for very different values. We have devoted ourselves to the vital cause of defending a free internet, meaning an internet where no one arbitrarily dictates which ideas can or cannot be heard, or which citizens may or may not be entitled to a platform. We regard it as deeply inappropriate and dangerous that the UK Parliament would attempt to control who is allowed to speak on our platform or to earn a living from doing so. Singling out an individual and demanding his ban is even more disturbing given the absence of any connection between the allegations and his content on Rumble. We don't agree with the behaviour of many Rumble creators, but we refuse to penalise them for actions that have nothing to do with our platform. Although it may be politically and socially easier for Rumble to join the cancel culture mob, doing so would be a violation of our company's values and mission. We emphatically reject the UK Parliament's demands. Alright, so I guess what you really want is my honest opinion about all of this. My 2 cents. You're all hanging on to the end of the video to, you're all saying to yourselves, Danny, tell us what to think already. Well, I will. All right, go on then. Well, there's 2 things, isn't there? There's YouTube having demonetized Russell Brand's channel. And I think basically that's just a harsh reality of the life of a content creator. We know that we're using these platforms and making a living from them. And one day you can wake up and they no longer want to be associated with you for whatever reason. And it is arbitrary. Some people are pushing the limits all the time, but sometimes, you don't know what's happened. It could be something you've done off the platform, on the platform. And it's very unfortunate. That's one side of it. It's like a pub. Some people get barred from pubs and they've got every right, the right of admission. They can get rid of you if they want to. If you're upsetting the barmaids again, Danny. No, it's never happened. That's what it is. It's just what it is, and they don't have to let you back in. If we are, on the other hand, addressing Caroline Zinadorg, well, here's the thing. Politicians, I can agree with them, disagree with them. People, I can disagree with them, agree with them, whatever. The intent is more important to me. And I don't think there is anyone here. I really... Tell me if I'm wrong. Caroline, her intent, she is not thinking about the alleged victims of this when she's writing to all the social media, when she's copying and pasting her letter to send to all of the executives of all the social media companies. You really think she's thinking about those women? Or is she thinking about herself? Is she getting home the morning after the afternoon after the morning of having copied and pasted all of those letters that her secretary mocked up for her, and having sent them on to all of those executives? Is she getting home saying, oh God, she walks in and her husband is there, slaving away at whatever he does, a consultant of some kind, a quantity surveyor, right? Is she getting home saying, I don't know if I didn't know what I was doing. I copied and pasted a few letters. I'm sending them off desperately to anyone I could think of, Rumble, Facebook. I just can't bear to see that man, after what happened to me. Is that what happened? Or is she getting home after a morning of copying and pasting the mocked up letter that her secretary wrote? Is she getting home after a liquid lunch with her buddies, right? Her pals from the office at the Ministry of Plenty, at the Ministry of Love, Hey, disaffected young man, you hear that? I've read 1984. Is she getting home after the liquid lunch, a little bit tipsy, and her husband's there sort of dozing on the sofa, got a cigarette falling out of his mouth. He's a bit tipsy as well, probably. And she gets back to their palatial, stately home in Gossip, or wherever where's the place she works? I don't know, some place. She gets back to their home and she says, honey, I think I did it, I got where I'm in the papers, look. I took out Russell Brand, he's going down. Is there an element of pride, do you think? Do you think she wants to be the woman that got Russell Brand cancelled? Or do you think she's Emmeline Pankhurst? What do you reckon? I know what my money's riding on. Caroline Zinadorg, right? It's the latter, not the former. I think it's purely vanity driven. Her crusade against Russell Brand's brand, right? And that's what really bothers me. It doesn't bother me that people are stupid. It doesn't bother me that people are wrong. It bothers me when people are lying, right? And she's lying. She doesn't care about anyone. She doesn't think about anyone but herself as she copies and pastes those letters that her secretary wrote for her. Right? Changing the name and of the executive and of the platform and nothing else. And that's all I've got to say about that. I'll see you in the next one.
Rich Uncle Skeleton and Dinner Dawn.